It's almost exactly 20 years since I started collecting Imperial Guard, and it came about sort of by accident. During the time of second edition, I went into Games Workshop intending to buy just some white spray paint and discovered that the Praetorian 24th box set had been released. I'd been considering getting Imperial Guard for a while, and I was a big fan of the film Zulu, so I decided there and then to buy a couple of the box sets and the codex to go with them. So instead of spending about £8 or so on spray paint, I spent more than 180 on a brand new army, and it's sort of grown since then. I've progressed as each new codex has been released. I have updated my army for it, but one thing is, throughout it all, my Praetorian 24th have always been the same colours as they were originally painted about 20 years ago. And given that they are what I would regard as my main army, I wasn't really happy with this. And so about 18 months ago, I decided I was going to do something I'd always said I would never do, and I was going to repaint the lot. Okay, so here we have one of the figures painted in the new colour scheme compared to two of the original ones, and you'll see there's quite a difference. I've gone for a far more dull, sombre appearance, and I've not only redone the figure, I've also radically changed the base. Instead of a bright green base that, if I could be bothered to get round to it, I put some flock onto, I've used a sand covered base which is painted brown and then given a sort of light coating of grey over the top to try and just pick out some details. But one guardsman does not an army make, and I've got quite a few more to go with it. Well, this is the army in all its glory. It's an infantry company taken from the Praetorian 24th. It consists of 6 platoons, each of which has 5 rifle squads, a command squad, 3 special weapon squads and 5 heavy weapon squads. And then to lead it all at front, I have a command section. Now, as I go through the army, I'm going to start with this now. The main command element for this army is a company command squad, and the company commander himself isn't actually a Praetorian figure. He's a Valhallan that I've done a head and weapons swap on to produce an officer in a grey coat. Then his command squad is made up from more ordinary Praetorian figures. I've got a standard bearer, a bugler that counts as a Vox link operator. Then I have a medic, and there's no medic figure available for the Praetorians, so what I did was, for this army, I took extra standard bearers and buglers, and I just removed the standard or the bugle, and in some cases the chainsword as well, and then stuck onto the back the plastic backpack from a Cadian medic figure. And then each command squad also includes a melter gun to support it. I also have enough commissars for the company command squad and the platoon command squads. This particular commissar is a limited edition Games Day figure. It's the female commissar. And then I also have a trio of regimental advisors. To round out the commands section, I have got a Lord Commissar and also an old second edition Primaris Psyker. I might add some more Psykers later on, but getting this type off eBay is a bit expensive, so I'll probably use the more modern version instead. Here we have one of the infantry platoons, and this consists of 14 squads. That's a command squad, 5 rifle squads, 5 heavy weapon squads and 3 special weapon squads. The command squad is pretty much the same as the company command squad in its composition. That's commissar, officer, standard bearer, Vox link, medic, which again is converted using a Cadian medic backpack, and a melter gun for some fire support. Then I've got 5 rifle squads in each, and each rifle squad is enhanced with a special weapon, a heavy weapon and a Vox set. There are no Vox sets available for Praetorians other than the bugler figure. I didn't think the bugler figure really suited the role of a Vox operator in a rifle squad, so what I've done here is just taken plastic Vox sets from Cadian kits and stuck them to the back of riflemen. And in each platoon I've kept the heavy weapons and the special weapons that are in the rifle squads the same. Just makes organising it a bit easier. And for the most part I've also done the same with the heavy and special weapons squads, and they match the weapons given to the rifle squads. So in this particular platoon you'll notice I've got melter guns in rifle squads and special weapons squads, and auto cannons in the rifle squads and the heavy weapon squads. This platoon uses a different heavy weapon for its heavy weapon squads to its rifle squads. As you can see, the standard rifle squad includes a missile launcher for support, whereas in the heavy weapon squads I've just got mortars. I don't normally use mortars in a rifle squad because I find they're not very powerful, and so having just one isn't a great lot of use. But once you combine 3 of them together in a heavy weapon squad, they're a bit more practical for pinning people down out of your normal line of sight. And so if I can have up to 5 of them in a platoon, that gives me 15 mortars, which is quite a bit of indirect firepower. When it comes to special weapons, not all of the options available for the Imperial Guard were ever produced as Praetorian figures, so I've had to do some converting in some of my special weapons squads. This is one example with demolition charges. Now all I've had to do here is take the melter bomb from Space Marine Devastator squad and fix it onto a Praetorian rifleman. The figure carrying it was easy, just stick the melter bomb on. The figure throwing it also required me to swap the hand, and I took a plastic hand from a Cadian holding a grenade, chopped away the grenade and replaced it with the melter bomb. There's also no plasma gun figure available, so I've taken the sprue of resin Space Marine plasma guns and swapped them for the las guns on some riflemen. I've got a few different poses. I've got the sort of running pose with the plasma gun held high. I've got a more basic advancing pose, and I've got the waving pose, for which I also had to add a rear pistol grip because that was exposed and the gun comes with a clenched fist around it. The final special weapon I had to convert is the sniper rifle. Now I did these conversions well before you could get plastic sniper rifles with Cadian or Catachan command squads. So I've actually taken the Exitus rifle from an Imperial assassin, swapped that for one of the aiming rifleman's las guns, and the scope is actually made from a spire on an old Battlefleet Gothic Imperial cruiser. So there we have the extent of my infantry company, and you'll have noticed there are no conscript squads in this. I could create some from the figures I haven't yet repainted, but I'm certainly not going to go to the extent of getting another full 300 Praetorians just to create conscripts from them. The next order of business for these is actually to repaint all the tanks that go with them, and that's going to be a pretty big job in itself. Anyway, thanks for watching. Bye.